Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Blackpool 2, Everton 4. Our third pre-season game so far, and our first win, our first goals.
Yep.
Thanks to Everton, travelled all that way to America, not saw a goal, but go to Blackpool and get 4. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, decent run out after what we saw in America, and certainly what we saw on Wednesday against Minnesota United. It was good to see. It was. I mean, straight away we thought this was going to be a tough game because of obviously what had happened in America and jumping on a plane and stuff and getting home. Them only a week till their season starts, so thought it was going to be a very tough game. But Everton started really, really well, and looked like they were at it, but looked like the managers obviously sent them out to make up for what had happened in the week.
Yeah, really good performance. Considering it was pre-season, it is July. We'd witnessed a shocking performance, really, in Minnesota. So to get home and to put in a performance like that was good. It is against the championship side. But they are 6 days from their season starting, and beforehand I fancy Blackpool, just bet on the basis that chance to get Premier League scalp, we weren't in the best position. But the players really applied themselves well. Obviously no Dominic Calvert-Lewin, no Damari Gray, both missing with slight injuries. But Everton went out and took the initiative immediately and settled into the game straight away and scored a great goal after 6 minutes. You know, the two full-backs linking up, or wing-backs linking up. Great cross from Nathan Patterson, a lovely volley from Michalenko, and the perfect start, I think, for Frank Lampard, and they went on from there.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned there the two wing-backs, obviously playing 3 at the back again. Tarkowski, Yeremina and Ben Godfrey.
Well, this is how we lined up. If Ned will just put it up there for us to just have a quick look. But like you just said there, those the 3 main ones, and then Patterson, Michalenko higher up, and then Decore and Davis in a double pivot with Anthony Gordon, Dele and Rondon higher up the pitch. And a change from what we'd seen in Minnesota, wasn't it? Where we played 4 at the back.
Yeah, and I think that formation at the back, certainly think suits us a lot better. I think that's our 3 strongest centre backs. The wing backs have to be played at wing backs, I think, or certainly to get them. I think Michalenko obviously can play as a left back. We've seen that. Patterson, I think he's going to take a little bit more time to become a traditional right back, defending wise. Anyway, I don't think he's the strongest defender in the world, and obviously his ability more is at the other end of the pitch, attacking and stuff. And obviously our defensive record last season was pretty poor, so having that extra centre back in there does help. So be interesting to see whether we do start that way when it comes down to Chelsea. And then obviously in the midfield we've got Allen to come back in there, but it's going to be interesting, the front area of the pitch, because you look at the way we've started there, and no Dom would go in there, but then do we put Dele closer to Dom, or whoever's playing up front, or as a number 10, or just someone playing off them? That's going to be an interesting thing as we go forward. Do we have 3 real centre midfielders with someone like a Wobie pushing through? It does create some interesting scenarios of how we're gonna line up.
Yeah, because I don't think, certainly with the 2 we had yesterday, if it's Davis and Decore, I think Decore's fine in terms of mobility and getting around the pitch. I think Tom likes to sit more as a traditional 6 and just play from there, albeit he did break well to score Everton's 2nd goal after a Rondon had avoided the offside trap, maybe. The linesman didn't give it, so he played on, and Davis done well, got in there, a nice header to make it 2-0. I think in the Premier League, you've got to have someone who's always aware of where you are defensively. So if Everton are going to play like that, it gives a big question mark to whether we play with a traditional winger in there as well. And then therefore, like we put on the graphic, with Dele starting kind of like off the left-hand side and Anthony Gordon off the right. I always feel Dele's better centrally, running off Dom. But maybe the manager has looked at a way where he thinks he can pick the bits up around Dominic Calvert-Lewin, come from the left and make him runs into the box and then keep Anthony Gordon out wide. But I would like Everton to go with a 3 in midfield. And that might mean Anthony Gordon plays more central at times as someone breaking from midfield. But it would need a specialist midfielder in there, I think, someone who isn't, for me, they're not at the club at the moment. The other positions can be battled out between Decore and Allen to see who else, or Iwobi to see who else partners someone in there. And then, do we find room then for Iwobi or Anthony Gordon breaking from midfield? Because I just think with 2 in there against Premier League sides, I think Everton find it difficult. I think with 3 in, you can make it difficult to play through, and I think it gets you in the game more. And it also allows you the outball to Dominic Calvert-Lewin with Dele running off him that way. So Frank Lampard's got a little bit of thinking to do. But
yeah, because I think teams who played the 3 at the back best, they get the ball into the centre midfield, and they use it well, allowing the wing backs to get high then, and then they tend to get it, find that ball to get it wide, and then they've got numbers on the edge of the box, they want numbers in the box. And that's where you want those, for me again, that extra centre midfielder. So you've got someone who can sit, and then the 2 in front of the 1 who are going to keep the ball and use it well, and like you said, I don't think we've quite got that personnel yet. I do think, as I said, I think the centre backs and the wing backs are the right players. I just think the make up that midfield, the midfield's not quite there for any formation yet. That's where we're desperately in need of players. Someone who can come in and create, score. Let's be honest, we need lots at the moment. We need lots of positions filled. The squad needs building out massively. It's one of, there is something we're all well aware of, keenly aware of. We need those players. But I think obviously what we did see was certainly into the second half of this game, we've seen what Dele Alli has had in his locker for the early part of his career, the ability to ghost into the box. And he got a couple. His first one was a tap in, and the other one was, Patterson gets the ball in and he sweeps it in, and that's what his trademark has always been. And it does ask that question now: can the manager use him as off Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Does he become that kind of player? So it's almost like 2 up front, or him up front at times. Does the manager think he's got enough in his locker after not playing that much the back half of the season? It's because this was a player who played in the Champions League and big games for England, and there's got to be something there we can still tap into. Otherwise, what's the point? Because he's not someone so far we've seen that can link up the play or pick up the ball and run it. For me, he's got to be that player who's busy in the box, and if you're getting the ball into the box for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, there's got to be other players, and he's someone for me. I think you can still do damage if he's given a run of games.
Yeah, he has almost got to become like Tim Cahill in a way, the way he was used, which is off the striker and buzzing about, because he does come alive in the penalty area. We saw that, didn't we? We saw the opportunity arise, and he was there to take it twice, and that's what you need. Everton have missed that. Johnny on the spot, if you like, that kind of striker or a kind of forward player who gets on the end of things. I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a different type. He's back to goal, he'll hold it up for you, he wins headers, he's very strong in the air. He likes balls across the front of him, and he can get himself on the end of it. But if he's competing, you need someone who's in and around him. And I think Dele is perfect for that, making those runs. I also think he can play as your striker as well. I really do. I think it's just his natural finish and his natural instinct takes him into areas where you'd want your centre forward to be, and I think he can do that as well. But for Everton to thrive, I will be playing him off Dom.
Do you think he's the natural replacement for Richarlison as we sit here now? Just he doesn't get back and pick the ball up and run at people. But what I mean by that is that when you look at some of the goals Richarlison scored late on in the season, you know, look at like the second goal against Crystal Palace, where he makes it out of nothing because he's in the box.
Well, he makes it.
And it's scruffy, but he's the second striker in there. The focus might all be on Dom, but he does something a little bit different, and it's not through brilliant skill. It's through just the will of wanting to do it. You know what I mean? And do you think he could be just that player who occupies other players and allows, so when we're getting balls in there for Dom, things will drop in there and he can be the one making on the end of it?
Yeah, I think in terms of putting the ball in the net he can, but he obviously is a different player than Richarlison. He's not someone who's going to run up and down that line the way Richie did and travel with the ball for us, and is an out ball at times. But certainly if you play him up with Dom, then he's someone who does come alive in the penalty area. And if Dom's competing for things and he's picking the bits up, you know, he's decent in the air as well, good height. So if the fullbacks are wide getting balls in, then him and Dominic Calvert-Lewin attacking them, you'll get goals off that. Just depends exactly how the manager wants to play, really, whether it's a 4-3-3 and then you put him in the 10 into midfield and have him breaking again from that central area. If you're using wide plays, if you're going with the 3, then for me he has to be the one of the 2 strikers. Certainly that's where you're going to get most out of him. Can he play back in midfield with the other 2? Possibly. But you've got to have 2 busy players in there with him so that he can be the one who is someone who gets on the ball a little bit. We saw at times in this game, good footwork, got himself out of trouble a few times, linked the play up a little bit. We need more of that from him. But the goals will do him the world of good because it's nice to just get that confidence. He'd missed an absolute gilt-edged chance in Minnesota. It was harder to miss. So the next game he's come back with a brace, and certainly the second one he was good movement, good ball in from Patterson, near post, flicked it in, goal. So I think he can be a big player for Everton if we can just get the other bits of the team right. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting, isn't it? I think obviously Friday we'll get more of an indication of how we are going to play. I mean, we've seen in America, we saw us trying to play out from the back, build up the play, but you know we weren't keeping hold of the ball long enough, and then we were hit then by the opposition too quickly in both games. You know, Minnesota, they just break the ball from midfield and then break on us, and it was just, we were all over the place, and it'll be interesting to see what we do. I just thought in this game, I thought the way we played was a lot more the way I think more suited to the players we've got. Tarkowski with those quick diagonals through to Patterson and springing the opposition. And don't get me wrong, in the Premier League, he's not going to have that time and space to hit those balls, and Patterson's certainly not going to have that time and space. But it is an out ball. It is something we saw actually Mason Holgate doing towards the back end of last season. Yeah, switching the play quickly. I just think as we sit here now, I think that's we're a lot more suited to that than trying to play out the back. I understand you can't just give up on your principles. I understand that. And when it's pre-season, you're allowed to go out there and see what you've got and see who is capable of or if there is someone capable of being in midfield and taking the ball. I just don't think we have that player. I really don't.
No,
I don't think
seem like it, does it?
You know, I don't think we've got that kind of player who takes the ball on the half turn and then can get us going. And if it means compromising, then you compromise. We saw that back end of the season, as I said. Frank Lampard, Frank Lampard said when we were going away from home, we were getting smashed everywhere because we were trying to play a way that this team is incapable of doing. And sadly, you don't get the time to do something straight away. You can transition in it. You can be working on it every day in training. playing a certain way and transitioning as we go, and so you get a hybrid system as you go forward. Sometimes go short, sometimes go long. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I just think that for me right now, the default should be a little bit more, let's be quicker. And that's not bang it to Dominic Calvert-Lewin when he's playing in front. It's being a little bit cleverer and getting those diagonals out to the wing-backs, telling them to get high and be ready. And so it will be interesting. I think we'll find out more, as I said, on Friday night, which way we are looking to go. But without those players, as I said, I'd err on the side of caution as we get going this season.
Yeah, it has got to be a hybrid system, definitely. I think there's a time to play. Absolutely there is. And there's a time to just go long and pick the bits up. And, if you're playing against a team who are all over you, the minute you receive the ball off the centre-back in midfield, then chances are you're going to make mistakes. So maybe knock it long and catch them out, and give them something to think about. But if you're up against a team who are letting you have the ball, then use the ball well. And I think we did have a reliance on it too much one way when Frank come in. It was too much of a changing now. Players weren't good enough to do it. The minute teams pressed us, we lost the ball and we were panicking. The minute we were a little bit more, let's be a little bit more direct or a bit cuter, we got results because we were playing in their final third, and that's what we have to do. And that, we've looked a lot better playing that way yesterday. And I know we still tried to link it up, and we did play some nice football. We didn't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin there, of course. So it'll be interesting when he's in the team. The one area of concern you'd say would be the set pieces. It's clearly something we've still got to work on. We conceded 2 goals. One was a mistake from Jordan Pickford, bit of poor goalkeeping, but the other was a corner. And we've got to make sure that we conceded against Arsenal off a set piece, then we conceded one against Minnesota or we've certainly dared the bar off one for sure, and then at the weekend we've let another one in. So that's something that the coaching staff have got to be working on. I've just read a piece today that says Ashley Cole's taking on that role now, so he's got to get his work cut out for that and make sure that we're tighter from set plays.
Yeah, we certainly don't react quick enough on the set pieces. It's still not something where you are absolutely confident on it. Of course, when the players like Dom are playing and Yerry Mina on the pitch, you're not something you necessarily worry about as much, but it's got to be a unit, hasn't it? You can't just take one player out and it disintegrates, or 2 players out. It has to be a system that works for anyone who plays in it. And we just don't seem to react quick enough when set pieces come in. We just get caught in. The one we conceded yesterday from Connolly, it's just a dead simple header. It's poor. Where's the player in front of him getting it up in?
Rondon looks at him and just lets him walk behind him and just heads it in. It's like
very disappointing. Disappointing. And as I said, the first goal's it's a decent effort, a goal. Pickford gets it all wrong, and hopefully he gets all those mistakes out of his system before the season starts. But yeah, it's a poor one. Like, it's a poor one. So I was just glad to have a win. I was just glad to get a win after a disappointing start to the pre-season. We're gonna have to work harder than other teams this season. I think for me, well, you've got to anyway, haven't you? Nothing new there. We're gonna have to work harder to win our games, and that has to start now. You have to see that. And I think we saw a little bit more of that yesterday. I think we started well when we were in Minnesota, and then missed a couple of opportunities, and then
the minute they scored,
the sharpness and confidence took over them once they got a goal. But yesterday, luckily, that didn't happen, and even coming out second half and being 2-1, we went and got a third, and they get a goal, and then we went and got it was the way the game swung was sent out good a good message, I think, to everybody that they were on it, and we're on to the next one.
Definitely, and it's the reaction from conceding the goals that's important. Too often we saw it against Arsenal the other week. 1 became 2. We saw it against Minnesota. 1 became 2, very quickly became 3. And that's something that they've got to get out the system. They've got to get that resilience where if they concede a goal, you just sort of calm it down. You're not going to keep clean sheets all the time. So it can't be every time you go behind, you start to worry that the second one's coming and that's it. The game plan's out the window. They've they've got to learn that resilience. I don't know how you do it. I think you've just got to come through it as a team to go.
I think you character, don't you? You need leaders, and I think certainly with the likes of Yeremina and James Tarkowski, they're leaders. And we've seen that already. I think you need more leaders on the pitch, and Jordan Pickford, you know, he's captain the side now, it seems. You just need more of that on the pitch, and less sort of individuals out there, and characters, and I think, you know, there are, you know, I think that we're getting a few more of them into the team. You could do with a couple more, but you need less individuals and more characters and more people who are playing for the team. And I think if that happens, then they understand then what it's all about. You know, these players all of these players basically have just come through something, you know, at the end of last season. They understand how important it is, and now it's time to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And you know, if you've got the right values and the working hard, and hopefully it shouldn't happen again. You know, you had that little bit of experience at the back, then, and get someone in midfield, then hopefully that doesn't happen again, and we'll win enough games through working harder than the opposition. I'd like to think anyway.
No, there's enough quality in this squad for Everton to be fine. Excuse me. They are short in a couple of areas, absolutely they are. They need another forward player that can get goals. They need one at least in midfield. But there's enough quality to stay away from danger this season if you cut out the errors. We have doubled the errors everybody had last season. We had got to look after the injuries. They've got to be, as the manager said, more robust this season. Players have got to be available. So do everything you can to make sure that's happening. Players have got to perform better than they did last season. No half seasons or quarter seasons. Be consistent. They do that, they'll be okay. It could go the other way and they struggle again, of course it could. But you look at them and think, keep that back five together, work on it. If they can add another couple, they'll be all right. And that's all you can hope for, and try to build something. But this was a positive result after two very disappointing performances in America. So Kiev on Friday, and then the real stuff starts the week after. So, you know, they'll want to win Friday night. Final pre-season game, it looks like, unless they can squeeze one more in. And it'll be important that they get the win in it to keep momentum going. You know, a couple of defeats, follow it with a couple of wins, feel good going into that, what is obviously a very tough first game of the season against Chelsea. But, you know, we've beat them before, and I'm sure we can again if the crowd are up for it.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. There you go. Let us know your thoughts on this game and where we are right now in pre-season. Let us know in the comments. Make sure to give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want more great videos, daily live videos, join us over on Toffee TV Premier. The link is in the description and it'll be on the screen in a moment. See you later.